Hey y'all, welcome back to Movement Link. So I just want to talk to you a little bit about the importance of following a program. There's just so many benefits to it. And so I know a mistake I made starting out is I had a whiteboard in my garage. What I would do is I would look up workouts. I would find workouts that I wanted to do, and I would look, and it's like, oh, that's the one I want to do today. And then I'd do it. And then the next day, I'd look and be like, oh, that's the one I want to do today. And then I would do it. And then later, I got to the point where it's like, oh, okay, now I'm going to make up my own workout. So each day, I was sitting there coming up with it. So the immediate thing that this did is it just took time. And time that I didn't need to be spending on that. And so I would go in to work out, and then I wouldn't even know what I was going to do. And so I'd have to spend 5, 10, 15 minutes looking things up, trying to figure out exactly what I'm going to do. Then inevitably, there was no real method behind what I was doing just because I was brand new, didn't know what I was doing. And so I was putting together workouts in a way that had no plan. It was completely randomness, and actually not completely randomness, because random would mean every now and then you would accidentally do 5 heavy pressing days in a row just by chance. So it's not completely random, but it was constantly varied without a plan. So now we've gotten so much better at understanding how to piece a program together, and what is the right amount of work, what is the maximum we can handle, and just how to piece a program together. So first of all, before we kind of get deeper into the specifics here, first thing I'll say is that the main, not the main, but an immediate benefit to following a program is you get to turn that brain off. You don't have to question if what you came up for yourself is good. In the middle of a workout, I used to always struggle with that. I'd be in the middle of a workout and I'd be like, oh, I think I made today too hard. Or, oh, is this and so there's so much thinking about what I had planned in the middle. And when you're just following a plan that was thought through before you get to the gym, and you just follow through, it is so much easier. And there's a lot of parallels to that in the recommendations we also make for living a healthy life. It's just about following through and getting those plans in order when you're strong beforehand. So we've got minimal effective volume, and we have maximal recoverable volume. So let's get a different color here. So for each workout, there's a minimum amount of work that you need to do to elicit an adaptation and a response. There's also a maximum amount that you can effectively recover from. And so what happens is so many people think more is more, more is more, more is more, more is more. And so there's actually a point where now, if you've reached this, every single rep you do beyond that is actually working to make you worse than what you would have been if you would have stopped anywhere within this range here. So what we really need to do is we need to control your squatting and your pressing and your pulls at different intensities. So at this weight, at body weight, at using this percentage of your max. We need to control your cardio and your central nervous system and how we're recovering in your muscles and your tissues. And we need to keep them in these ranges and then pair these things up in a smart way that elicits maximal gains for the amount of effort you're putting in. And so what happens is if we're just doing random things, first of all, we might randomly not do enough, or we might randomly do way too much. But the main thing without having that plan in place is we're just kind of throwing spaghetti at the wall and hoping. And when we have that plan in place, we can really optimize the results we're getting for each specific body part, metabolic pathway, speed work, strength work, agility, all of these things. We can really maximize the progress we're making if we can get a long-term plan in place. So the other thing that we talk about a lot are just SRA curves. So this is stimulus, recover, adapt. And so the stimulus actually makes you worse. So that would mean you're working out, and say you warm up and then you were going to test something. Well, say you would test here, but now say you work out okay, and you test that same thing, you're probably going to be worse than you would have been an hour before. But that's to be expected. So the immediate effects of working out actually makes you worse, but it's in the recovery and then the adaptation phases that we actually get better. And so what we need to do is every movement, deadlifts can take a week to two. Super heavy 1 rep max deadlifts can take a week or two to fully recover from. Back squats about a week, smaller muscles like the abs a couple days maybe. So every exercise has its own SRA curve. Every amount of work has its own curve. And so what we're doing with our programs is we're tacking these onto each other in the smartest way possible. So what we do when we're programming is we're coming up with a scientific approach, and I use the word scientific just because the way we program is repeatable. So what I do is using kind of gold standards of programming, rep schemes, number of reps within what weights and intensities. Within those frameworks, we put together these programs and cycles. And so then as we're watching our clients and as we're doing it with ourselves, as we're seeing people either make really good progress or not quite the progress they should be making, it's real easy to go back and make those little adjustments. So on the next cycle, we can make those little adjustments and then continue on. So long story short, instead of just winging it, it's what I used to do. It is not a complete waste of time because in the beginning, you can kind of just get good by doing anything. But if you're going to continue to progress, or if you just want to go ahead and jump on board and get the most out of your efforts, which everyone should be doing anyway, there are just so many good reasons to follow a program written by somebody that's taking the big picture into account and not just throwing a bunch of random workouts together. Hope that helps. Talk to y'all soon.